Hello, I'd like to share with you this Seiko watch. This watch was my father's watch, and the watch dates from 1973, manufactured in April of '73. And that would make sense that my dad would have bought this watch around that time. And seeing how we lived in South Florida and he was in the Bahamas a lot on business and pleasure, he probably picked it up in Nassau in a duty-free shop. This is a Seiko Movement 7005, and the case type is the 8052, which is the Seiko poor man's dive watch. It's not the real, certified dive watch that they built around the time, but this watch was waterproof, and it was a stylish piece. He sailed a lot. This would be a fine watch for sailing and not necessarily scuba diving, but certainly you could get in the water with it, you could skin dive, you could sail with it, and you could go out and be active with it. I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not, but he engraved his initials. You can see it, HR, above the Seiko. And yep, that's what he did way back when. Make sure nobody took his watch. So he wore it for a long time, and then he bought a nicer watch. He wore a Rolex for a long time, which my brother has. Josh also ended up with this watch, but he passed it along to me, and I really appreciate it. I'm glad to have it. I've never really worn this watch that much. It does run. It keeps time in general. It's been serviced at some point in the past decade. But I never really wore it much because of this band on it. It's made by Uncle. It's an aftermarket band. Frankly, I think it's the style of band the watch had when my father bought it, but I just dislike it. I don't like the feel of it, and it does not please me. So what I did was I went to our favorite online internet retailer and I bought an original band, and then it only had one in-link, and the in-links are very hard to get. They're usually missing or broken, and they're specific to this watch. But what I have done, somebody started manufacturing reproductions. So this is the original one right here, and these are the repos. Now, what I'm going to have to do is file off 1 millimeter on either side of these lugs to get it to fit, because the original, whoops, is that not the original? Yeah, right, David. Let's see, one of these is going to be the original, and it goes, but let's see, this one, as you can see, looks right, but it won't fit. They disclosed it when I purchased it that it was going to need the filing, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to file that out, fit the bracelet to the watch, and see how it goes. So I bought this giant set of watch tools. Thank you, Amazon. It was less than $20. This doesn't belong in there. And all I really needed was a couple things. None of it looks like it's high quality, but I'm not too into watches yet. I don't want to spend a lot of money on tools, but I love the idea of pretty much having everything I need at hand. And if I enjoy this more, I will upgrade my toolkit. But for now, it certainly is a lot better than trying to use, little toothpicks and stuff that isn't meant for the job. All right. Now, I'm going to take off the original, or the existing bracelet. This bracelet is too tight. It's 19 millimeter, and it really is just jamming the pins in very tightly. But out it goes. And this one. And out it goes. And here we see the watch. It's upside down. The bezel turns both ways, which a true dive watch won't. It is not divided up into minutes on the bezel. It should be, but for a true dive watch. But again, you know, you can certainly rotate the bezel and set time. And there's the back of the watch. It's in good shape. It's certainly not abused. The bezel is in nice shape. I don't know, the little dot of glow-in-the-dark looks kind of funny. It doesn't glow in the dark anymore. But it certainly is a nice piece. It's a good vintage watch, and it is now a project on my workbench. So, what I'm going to attempt to do, which I'm sure in a very clumsy way, is to put all this together. I've never done this before. So this is the original link, and I'm going to start with it. I'm sure anybody who actually works on watches will be unimpressed with my fumbling. But hey, I mostly do motorcycles and antique engines. Okay, so there's that. Well, I don't know what I'm doing here. So here I am grinding the in link to widen it up so it will fit on the watch. I don't know if it's taking any material off or not. Hopefully any overshoots or errors will not be visible. I tried with a file off camera, and that was pretty hopeless. You can imagine, stainless steel is a tough material. Well, after a lot of grinding, it's finally starting to go in. It's a little narrower back on this side, but at the opening, it's wide enough. So now I need to go in with my grinder and just open up the inside a little bit more, and hopefully I'll be done. I have these little hoops here which have been ground very thin, and I was worried that I was going to grind through them and they'd be lost and the thing wouldn't fit right. Really all they do is keep the in link from popping off the watch and floating out of position. If this in link were to fall off, even if that were gone, the bracelet would stay on the watch. But I want to make it right. So let's see what I can do with it. So after a tremendous amount of grinding, I got the thing to fit. And here I am fitting the pin into the in link. And I shall fiddle around with it and fit it to the watch itself. It was a moment of triumph. So there we go. I have the bracelet on the watch. Two problems. The band is a little bit snug, and I have put it on backwards, so the latch doesn't naturally come to your... It's not easy to remove it. So what I ended up having to do here was adjust the watch out one link on the adjustable portion there at the latch, which was pretty easy. And then, which wasn't so easy, was I had to remove the band from the watch and just swap it around and put it back on. I find that kind of difficult. There's not a lot of room to work. I'm worried I'm going to scratch something on the watch, but it all went through pretty easily, and the watch feels comfortable, is easy to take on and off. And it's really something I want to wear now. It always felt wrong before I did this.